Does the way that you acquire money matter? In today's day, it almost seems like it doesn't matter how you make your money, you are going to be celebrated regardless. I see so many people now online, the way that they go about making their following and getting these clicks and likes and things like that is by being dishonest. I made a video on dishonesty, or by doing things just for the views. And it's shaped how people approach their life because they're willing to do anything just to be able to get the success. And by success today, we tend to measure that with money, which is also its own dangerous thing. But I wanted to think about, what does that do to you as a human being, and what does that do to society? Because we all tend to know inherently that being a drug dealer and having a lot of money, or being an OnlyFans girl and having a lot of money, or fill in the blank of being someone who is not a good helping member of society, someone that is just selfish, someone that is profiting off of the destruction and despair of others, is not a good thing. Inherently, we know that being selfish is not a good thing. But yet, our actions say otherwise. We celebrate these people and we let them do things, and they have voices and positions in society now where they are movers and shakers. And not so much maybe the drug dealers, but the OnlyFans girls and the TikTok influencers and these people who are doing nonsense but are really good at, for whatever reason, getting money through these avenues, are now leaking into other areas of our culture and influencing even more people, which who knows what that's going to spell for the future. But I wanted to talk about the flip side of that. And the inherent, like I said, this inherent understanding of doing the right thing and not being selfish, it's in there. So let me give you a scenario. Let's just say the only family members that you have are your sister, right? You have a sister and her husband and their kids, and you have a relationship with their two kids, and they don't have any other family. He doesn't have any family. You don't have any other family. Your parents are dead. That's it for your family, okay? It's just you, your sister's family, which is your sister, husband, and two kids. So the unthinkable happens. Your sister and the husband get in a car wreck and die, and they've left these two kids, which you have a relationship with. What's the response? You're someone who, let's just say, is doing their own thing. They're working on their career, they're partying, they're selfish, they don't want responsibility, they definitely don't want kids, and now they have these two kids, and what's the decision? The decision should be, inherently we know, to take care of those kids. Find a way to make ends meet so that you can keep those kids, that relationship that you have, and not let them go off into foster care, and who knows what ends up happening to them after that. Okay, maybe they end up getting split up, right? Because one family wants this one and they're not willing to take the other one. Who knows, right? These things happen. And I know that they're better at that nowadays, but let's just say that's the scenario. We all know inherently that the person shouldn't say, well, it's the better thing to do is to say screw you to the two kids, to party themselves, to focus on themselves, be selfish, and forget about that relationship. We all know inherently that that is not the right choice, but that is kind of what we're celebrating today. No. Don't take on more responsibility. Don't think about the future. Think about right now. Do you. You go, girl, all right? Do you. There's this great book, Don't Follow Your Heart. And it talks about a lot of these hashtags and these trends and these things that we talk about. You only live once, and how they lead to despair and destruction. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that the selfishness, that focusing on yourself and not thinking about what your capability, how that can impact others, eventually will lead to despair, whether that's for yourself or whether that's for other people. And I've lived that out myself. I thought that pleasure was what I should do. It feels good, so I should do it. And that ended up destroying me, and it destroyed other people around me. And it's not the way to go. It feels good in the moment, the right now, but in the long term, over and over again, it starts to decay. But on the flip side of things, making yourself more capable to take on more responsibility, and then taking on more responsibility in relationship to your capability. If you take on too much responsibility for your capability, it could crush you, right? So the scenario maybe with the two kids is a bad example, because it's like, well, maybe those two kids, and that's probably what people are going to say, you're not ready for that, you're not capable. I think we all have that capability, but if we are constantly playing down, we're not shooting up. If we're constantly going, my capability is here, but what I'm doing on a daily basis is here, all right? I could be shooting for here. My capability, all right? I keep shooting higher, keep shooting higher, keep shooting higher. That's how you're going to make yourself able to take on responsibility. And even when you're not at the moment, it doesn't even seem like you're capable of taking on a certain amount of responsibility, you will find ways of increasing that if you are shooting for more, if you're aiming for more than what you have today. And I think, like I found in my own life, I wanted things to just stay the way that they were. I wanted things to just be okay so that I could continue doing the things that I was doing for my own pleasure, my own selfishness. And that started to decay and things started to crash down. And this is how people end up homeless. For me, it was alcohol and drugs. I was into those things, into the selfish pursuit of physical and mental pleasure. And what was ending up happening is the jobs, right, that I was doing, they were starting to collapse because I wasn't showing up. Oh, what a concept, all right? And I wasn't doing as good of a job when I was there because I was focused on other things. My mind was other ways, or I wasn't getting sleep. And so I was not as present and attentive with my clients. And so what ends up happening is that starts to decay. You start to lose these job opportunities. And so you start to lose everything around you. And alcohol and drugs are easy examples to see that, but we're doing this in ways that seem somewhat innocuous at the time. They don't seem like they are that bad, but inherently, like I said, we kind of know if we put it out there and we kind of look at the two examples, being selfish and doing what you want to do and not taking on responsibility, right? We know inherently that we should be growing and making ourselves more capable and making ourselves of service to other people, right? Versus being selfish and taking and stepping on other people to get where we want. No, lifting other people up along the way as you're going through life, not just affecting yourself and making yourself more capable, but literally taking other people along with you and helping people. We know that that's the right answer. But yet, like I said, in society today, I see so many people that are celebrating this selfishness, celebrating people who are doing things in a way of you get yours, you do you, winning, hashtag winning, all right? And it's like they don't care how they're going to get to the end goal of success or money. They just want that. And there's always been a concept of what would you do for a Klondike bar, or what would you do for $1 million? There's always going to be people that will do heinous things to be able to get that money. But if it's accepted as a cultural thing, that that's what we do, we don't take on responsibility, we just have selfish pleasure, what do you think is going to happen to society? Number one, you're not going to end up having kids. You're not going to be able to create a society for the future. But also on top of that, even if you do, if you're someone that is so focused on themselves and then all of a sudden you're going to go, well, I've spent 40 years of my life being selfish. And then now all of a sudden, because now people are starting to have kids way later, right? They're waiting, they're freezing their eggs and they're waiting till they're 36, 37, 38 to have kids. They've lived this life of selfishness for a long time. And then all of a sudden they're going to make a complete 180 and turn their life over and helping this other being grow and live. Do you think that that's going to be easier or harder for someone that's lived a lot longer life? I think a lot of people have this idea that, well, I've gone through that phase of my life and I am going to. I look at older people and I look at the way that they act. They are very set in their ways. It is very hard to teach someone who is old how to live differently. So extrapolate that down. Is it easier to teach someone at 20 years old than it is at 30 years old? Is it easier to teach someone at 30 years old at 40 years old? 40 years old and 50. So if we keep moving that over and over, it's going to be harder because that person is set in their ways. So if selfishness is their genuine, repetitive, normal state, taking that person and being like, all right, you're going to give all of your time and your effort over to this other thing. Never mind 2 things or 3 things. 1 kid, 2 kid, 3 kid. You think that that's going to go well. And this is what's starting to happen in marriages. You're starting to see people who are putting themselves ahead of the family unit. And even if they were changed, they said, I'm going to change and I am going to have a family now. That selfish behavior breaks up the family. They literally will say, my happiness is more important than this family entity, and I don't even care that these kids are going to go through this terrible experience. They might not even notice. That's how selfish they've become. They might not even notice the destruction that's happening around them because they're focused on themselves. You do you, girl. If you're not happy, all right, you should be happy. Do what makes you happy. I don't think that happiness should be the goal. I think, like Jordan Peterson talks about, the way that you get meaning out of your life and true satisfaction is by taking on as much responsibility as you can handle. That is where you're going to find the real joy in life. And like I said, I think this is inherent inside of us. I don't think that this is a foreign concept. I think if you really sat down with people and asked them, what do you really think is going to fulfill you? Being selfish and giving you all of this pleasure, right? Or sacrificing and being like a pillar for other people to look on and to be of service from. You doing these acts of kindness. It's like, I think we all know where the right answers are. But like I said, if this becomes the norm, it's going to literally destroy the society that we know because there won't be one. You're not going to have families anymore because they're going to be broken. You're not going to have people wanting to have kids because they just want to do what they want to do. They don't want to go through. You're already seeing this in surrogacy. People literally don't want to go through childbirth. They want to look good and feel good. They will literally have someone else bear their child inside of them. This was not the case not that long ago. These things were not possible. I don't know how much longer things like that can go on before society itself crumbles. And I look around and I look at my own life. It was not that long. It didn't take that long for me to burn it down. How long is it going to take us to burn it down? It seems like it's happening right now, but we're still fat and happy. We're still in this state of it's not that bad yet. And it's really good for certain people, so why would things change? I just wanted to discuss that. I just felt like there's something inside of us inherently. I think this is one of the reasons why someone like Jordan Peterson got so popular is because there is this yearning inside of us. We don't have many examples of that out there, but it's in there. It's inside of us. Most of the examples out there are of this selfish, self-seeking pleasure mindset. And I don't think it fulfills us on a deeper level. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe this is going to run its course pretty quickly and we are going to see that there is this deeper meaning that we really want and we're going to start finding ways of getting that. I hope. But maybe it has to get worse before it gets better. Maybe enough divorces and enough broken homes and enough, celebration of depravity allows us to start to change. I know that's what happened in me. I got gifted the gift of getting out of that. I got humbled. I don't know what that means for a nation or a culture, the Western world. I don't know what that means. I don't know how we're going to have to get humbled, but it's an interesting concept to think about, at least for me, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today. So anyways, that's all I got for today. I'm done. Next time, I'll see you.